Okay, so welcome to another 6 second interview. And I'm here today with Colin Cafferty. Hi, Colin.
Hi, Gwyneth. Good to see you, and thank you for inviting me along to talk today.
Welcome. So, would you like to introduce yourself a little more? Just tell us who you are and, yeah, a little bit about your 6 seconds journey, maybe.
Okay, so I am based in Berlin, in Germany. I've been here for the last 6 years. Originally from Ireland, from the west of Ireland, and um, I guess I only got to know about 6 seconds a year ago. I can't believe it actually when I think of it. It was only late August last year.
Mm.
And a lot has happened since then. So much has happened since then. Um, I've um, been busy with, for example, the various certificate courses, the assessor course and the practitioner course, and I'm close to finishing the coaching also, the certificate in, to become a coach and also to be certified with the ICF. So there's been a lot going on, and I want to incorporate this work into my coaching practice, uh, especially. I'm a job coach here in Germany, and I work primarily through German. But I would like to, work freelance for myself as an EQ coach. And 6 seconds has given me a lot of structure and a lot of support that'll help me along the way there.
Great. And what else are you working on at the moment? Because you've mentioned to me a few other training courses you've been doing, been very busy.
Mm, yes, one of those courses is on empathic listening. So it is run by a guy called Edwin Rutch, based in California, and he has an empathy circle movement, which is very much it's a very simple but elegant idea where a person um, has the opportunity to really talk freely and to be heard, and to have the other person reflect back what they've told them, and it can be very empowering and liberating. So I'm trying to become a facilitator in empathy circles, and I'm also on a journey to become well, not to become anything actually. When I think of it, to practice nonviolent communication. Um, it's it's more leans more in the direction of compassionate communication, and it's run by a guy called Tom Bond in the US over 12 months. And so both of these courses, the nonviolent communication and also empathic um, the empathy circles, they really support me as an EQ practitioner and as an EQ coach. And I'd like to integrate the work there into my EQ with 6 seconds.
Mm, yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of these different things, but they all have maybe similar underlying threads, right? Or similar things that you can draw on. So, yeah, maybe I'd ask you, what's your noble goal? Do you have one?
I'm laughing to myself because yes, that's like an in question. Not everyone knows what a noble goal is, but yeah, if you're with 6 seconds for any length of time, you learn that this is something. A noble goal is something that can really drive you and um, give you energy and activate all of the other EQ skills so that you can be emotionally intelligent. So my noble goal is to nurture emotional well-being in others so that they can flourish in service of a fairer society and a healthier planet.
Mm.
That's the long version.
Yeah, yeah, nice. And so, of course, another thing that we have in common, as well as 6 seconds, is that you've also trained as a work that reconnects facilitator, right? So, I mean, we won't go into a huge conversation about what that means, but do you want to say a little bit about, yeah, what it means for you, what it is?
Hmm. Well, the work that reconnects, as it says in the name, it's about connection. It's about building connection with ourselves and with others and with nature. Um, and it also ties in with EQ. There's definitely an overlap there. For example, empathy is a really important way of building connection. But within the spiral, which is the model um, that the work that reconnects use, there's the there's you know there's a lot of emotional processing involved. It's not explicitly described in those terms, but it's definitely there. You have this spiral where a person starts by coming into gratitude, which is this emotion that features very much in Buddhism, and some of the teachings of Buddhism are also a part of the work that reconnects. So starting with this grounding in gratitude, and then processing our emotional pain. Um, that's 6 seconds would say, yeah, that we should feel our feelings, that we should go through our emotions, that we should listen to what they're telling us, that there's a wisdom within. And again, I can see parallels in the work that reconnect. So, and the model continues in that vein. And so, um, when you combine both, I think you can really supercharge um, the the process. And what is the process? Well, with the work that reconnects, it's really about coming into this life-sustaining society, and it's about telling a new story um, instead of it being about business as usual. It's about having this great turning where we can actually create a world that is where we really that's a fairer world, and that where we protect our planet.
Yeah, so it ties in with your noble goal quite well as well, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, we also did a community call, didn't we, about climate and emotions. And so a lot of the work you and I have done together revolves around, yeah, the intersection, I would say, of well-being, of emotional intelligence, and of climate change, of being aware of what's happening in the world in terms of the climate crisis.
Hmm.
So yeah, do you want to say a little bit more about that? It's a big question, but how can EQ help us face the climate crisis?
Hmm. Um, well, I think that the climate crisis is also an emotional crisis, and um, there's many ways of telling the story. But I think that it's a this is something that requires us to really, really listen to our emotions and learn how to, harness the energy that's there to take action, because it's also about making choices and taking action um, that can really, get us out of this really um, overwhelming situation that we're going into. And so, if I was to give you an example of an emotion where I was struggling with, I've been struggling with, um, that would be guilt, for example. And when I think I've told you this before, Gwyneth, but when I was in London and I went back to college to study for a master's in climate change management, I couldn't think of what I was going to write my thesis on. I didn't have a clue, but it came to me. It came to me because I had this feeling of guilt about all the air miles that I traveled,
Mm.
how in this conflict between wanting to see the world and the environmental damage that I was causing. And so I had a real need to process that emotion. And one way of doing that was to actually write 20,000 words about it in the form of a dissertation. I'm sure there would be easier ways to do that. I mean, you know, we now know with our EQ training that there are other ways that we can process our emotions that we can navigate the challenges that they sometimes present to us.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think it's very important to also underline, right, that yeah, 6 seconds mentions all emotions are data. There's no good and bad emotions. And the same way the work that reconnects says, the things you feel, the guilt, the grief, the pain, the fear, these are all very normal things to feel, and that we shouldn't be trying to push away these feelings. We shouldn't be trying to fix, the eco anxiety, right, in order to just move on and feel better. But actually, maybe, if we think about the KCG model, so know yourself, choose yourself, give yourself,
Hmm.
maybe we can even harness, right? Choose emotions that might motivate us, right? And
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. And I mean, one emotion that might motivate us, or that motivates me, is the emotion of awe.
Mm,
That feeling which is hard to get now, where you have a clear night sky and you can see the Milky Way, or when you can see at least, this the vastness of the universe above our heads. And these wow moments, we need them to really, you know, give us energy. It gives me energy at least, and wants me to do my part to protect the planet.
yeah, yeah, those moments of wonder or amazement, right? And yeah, a lot of people say now that is really the emotion that's going to help us transition to, well, a society that values life and values the planet above, maybe the more fear driven model we've been in, right? Which is essentially kind of running away from poverty and just trying to get more and more and more so we can feel safe.
Hmm.
Yeah. The hard.
But and as you said, Gwyneth, correctly, that the fear has something to tell us as well. And there's all our emotions are allies. That's something that we learn with 6 seconds, and there's a wisdom there that we can tap into.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely. Great. Well, finally, then, thank you for talking to me today. And I just will ask you finally, do you have a particular 6 seconds tool or model or anything that you find particularly helpful for yourself?
Um, I'm going to go with the 6 second pause,
Mm,
because I just like the simplicity of it. And I think if it's good enough to name the organization after, there must be something in it. There must be some value in it. And I do practice it. Of course, you have to catch yourself in the moment when things seem to be when your emotions are when you're finding it difficult to navigate your emotions, for example. But once you do, I what I do is I recite my phone number backwards, or I do kind of maths problems in my head, and it just engages a different part of my brain. So I'm not engaging the um, the part of my brain, the fight or flight part of my brain. I'm engaging the logical part, and it just gives me that space, that short pause, so that I can get out of the cycle of regenerating the same emotion again and again.
yeah,
Yeah.
great. 6 second pause is a very valuable one. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Colin. And yeah, is there anything else you'd like to say before we sign off?
Um, I would just like to say that actually, I would like to say something to you, because Gwyneth, you are the person who told me about 6 seconds, and so I'm really grateful for that. And I wanted to say that again to you. We are on a similar path in some ways, but you've been out front and I've been, running up behind. But it's been great to share this journey with you so far.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's great to hear that I've been inspiring. That I brought
Yeah.
you towards 6 seconds. Great. All right. So thank you so much and see you again.